the way you begin, think about, what do I take x times to get 2x squared? What do I need? 2x, good. Okay. Doesn't matter where you write it up here. It doesn't have to line up or anything. It's just a 2x. I then take that 2x that I picked, and I multiply it by each of these terms that we're dividing by. Okay, so 2x times x is going to give me 2x squared, which I'll write right here. And then 2x times 1 is 2x. Okay, from there, now we get to subtract it. It's very easy to make little sign mistakes throughout your divisions. Okay, so be really careful when you're subtracting. What is 2x squared minus 2x squared? 0. Every time that's got to happen. These need to be gone. Okay. Then I have negative 3x minus 2x. So what do I get? Negative 5x. Good. And then bring down your next number. So bring down the minus 5. Then we get to start all over. So what do I take x times to get negative 5x? Negative 5. Okay, so I'm going to do that up above. And then I multiply. So exact same thing. Negative 5 times each of these. Okay, so that's going to give me negative 5x minus 5. Then we subtract. There's a whole lot of negatives here. So negative 5x minus negative 5x is? Okay, so that one's gone. What about negative 5 minus negative 5? 0. Okay, that's your remainder. So that means there is no remainder on this problem. Your answer is the 2x minus 5. Okay. All right, I want you guys to try the second one. I'm going to help you set it up, though. Because what do you notice on this one? No x squared. Yeah, it starts with cubed, but there's no x squared. So the way you deal with that, we start with our x minus 1 on the outside. And then it's going to be 2x cubed plus 0x squared minus 3x minus 4. Okay, so I'll give you guys a minute to try that one. Okay, so what do I take x times to get 2x cubed? The first thing I need. 2x squared. Okay? Then remember, I take this times everything that's over here. So I'm going to get 2x cubed minus 2x squared. And then I subtract. Okay, gone. 0 minus negative 2x squared is just 2x squared, yes. Hey guys. Don't mind. Minus 3x is coming down. Okay, then you start over. What do I take x times to get 2x squared? 2x. So up here is plus 2x. And we multiply again. Take it times everything in front. So I'm going to get 2x squared minus 2x. All right, careful with your signs. Subtract. 2x squared minus 2x squared gone, and then yeah, what's negative 3x minus negative 2x? Just negative x. Good. Minus 1 more time. What do I take x times to get negative x? Negative 1. Negative x plus 1. Running out of room. Subtract. What am I left with? Negative 5. What is that negative 5? That's your remainder. Okay, and we don't just write r negative 5 anymore. Okay, what you're going to do for me is say plus negative 5 over your divisor. So over x minus 1. Yes, you could have just said minus 5 over x minus 1, but when your remainder's more than one term, if you put a minus in front of that with the fraction, you're going to mess up your signs. So do plus every time, and then just do whatever your remainder is over the divisor. Okay? All right. I want to give you one more long division before we go to synthetic division. So somewhere on your paper, squeeze this guy in. Guys, this is one where long division is the only way you could do it. Okay? As far as synthetic division, it's not going to work. Factoring, there's some other things you could do. But when you see a trinomial like this, long division is what you should think about. So I will give you a minute. It looks worse. It's actually a shorter problem. these now, when you multiply, realize you're creating 3 terms. Okay, so it goes much bigger. All right, guys, let's go through it. A lot of you are there. All right, so first thing, what do I need to turn x squared into 3x cubed? 3x, yes. All right, so I'm going to get 3x cubed minus 6x squared plus 3x. Then please be careful. You must subtract everything, okay? First ones are gone. Then what is 1 minus negative 6? 7. And negative 2 minus 3. Good. And then bring down your 4. Okay? So start over. What do I take x squared times to get 7x squared? 7. 7x squared minus 14x plus 7. Subtract. What's negative 5 minus negative 14? 9x. Good. And then 4 minus 7? Good. Okay, can I multiply x squared by something to get 9x? Like, that's not going to work, right? So that's how you know when you're at your remainder. So the entire thing of 9x minus 3 is the remainder. So I'm going to go up here and say plus 9x minus 3 over x squared minus 2x plus 1. That is your answer. Okay. What? Okay, on long. You don't have to like long division. Are you okay with it? Maybe. All right, we'll keep practicing. It's just so easy to mess up a negative or multiplying or something. You know, there's just so many little places to make mistakes. They're hard. All right, so let's do synthetic division next. This is like the shortcut for long division. Trouble is, it doesn't always work. Like that last problem we had, we couldn't do that with synthetic division. Okay, all of these, do you see what the divisors look like here? Okay, linear, no coefficient other than just 1. That's when you can do synthetic division. The way you set it up, you look at your denominator. What would make the denominator 0? 2. So that goes on the outside of my little half box here. Then all you're looking at is coefficients from your problem. So x cubed, I'm going to put a 1. Then a negative 3, a 1, and a negative 4. All right, to begin, bring down your first number. So the 1 just comes straight down. Okay. Then it's 1 times the number you have outside, so 1 times 2, which is 2. Synthetic division, you get to add instead of subtract. So what's negative 3 plus negative 1? All right, what do I do with that negative 1? Good. So I get negative 2. Yep, multiply there. Multiply, add, multiply, add. Keep going. So 1 plus negative 2, 1. Multiply again. And then add, yes, negative 6. Okay, your answer is not 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 6. Okay, those are the coefficients of your answer. So the way you get your answer, look at what we were doing. We started with x cubed, and we divided by x. So what does that make my exponent now?
X squared.
Yeah, x squared. So this is 1x squared. And then just go down by degrees. So I've got 1x squared minus 1x minus 1. So what does that make the negative 6? The leftovers. Yes, the remainder. So plus negative 6 over what? X minus 2. Good. All right. Let me show you a quick way to check to see if you've done your synthetic division correctly, or really any of your division. This number out here that I was dividing by here, the 2. If I take that and plug that in everywhere there's an x up here, let's see what we get. 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared plus 2 minus 4. So what's 2 cubed? 8. What's 2 squared? Times 3. Okay, so minus 12 plus 2 minus 4. What do I get? Oh dear. Adding and subtracting Friday afternoon. Not going well. Yeah. Negative 6. Good. Is that the same as our remainder? Yes. If you are getting the remainder right at the end of a synthetic or long division problem, it's very likely that you got everything else right. Okay, so that's just a quick way to check. I plugged it in. Yep, got the same thing. I'm sure I did my division right. You don't have to do this every time. I'm just showing you a way to check. All right, so I want you to do 4, 5, and 6 for me right now. That's your answer. Be careful on number 6. What do you notice there? Well, there's a cube. There's
X squared.
yeah, not a square. It's what we're going to do. Okay. Put a 0 in there. Yes, I have a squared guy. Technical terms there. So, yeah, when you're doing your coefficients across, you would just do 2, 0, and 3. Like, you don't even have to write all of that. But you can.
Just be interested.
Yes. guys agree? Did you get the same answer?
It's fine.
That is not like the most exciting way to end your day.
Did you,
Why? No, not buying anymore.
these are actually weird.
Do it in pencil.
Yeah, it's like whole second.
Yeah, that's not what I got. They're gonna write it.
What's the weight?
Well, it is. Or check in with
All right, guys, so I'm going to go through the answers up here just so you know. All right, for 4, did you get 2x minus 5?
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. I was looking at it, I'm like, I know this is not right. Like earlier when I warm Well, wouldn't it be
Negative 1 and then
Another -1.
oh, another -1? Is that the one I ignored?
yeah.
Okay, thanks. So then we're at 0. Thanks, guys.
Right.
These are the days when you know that I'm human. All right, then on this one, we got to put our 0 in. All right, how'd I do on that one? Better. All right, guys, questions on synthetic division?
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you watch the video, you'll hear like what you guys say. They can't see you, but your voice is there.
Ah. So they can
Oh,
hear
you
me
hear a
say,
lot. Well,
Dave, no.
it's not like every little quiet conversation is being recorded, but yes, sometimes if you watch a video and it's one of my other classes, you're like,
You just can never care. I don't care.
That's like a compliment about this. Doesn't it like you more than the other
what? No, I'm like, I'm just telling you.
Have you ever had
No mystery solving or anything like that. Did have one kid who really liked having his voice, like he always was at some time. Are you recording this today? And he liked his voice being on it. All right, turn the page for me. Wow, we're not doing any of those. Okay. Guys, we don't have much left, I promise, okay? Ready, Fletcher?
Oh, sorry. We're talking about shoes. What do you think the most like standardized shoe size? Like what number? I think it's 10. Guys,
No. You could make like a stat problem out of
what
it.
shoe
Really
size
wanted
do you
to.
guys need? You guys get 10 to 11. I got 11. Yeah, like anywhere from like 10 to 11 is like the standard shoe size. Then it has
Super relevant to our synthetic division, isn't it?
Yeah, well, we should, one day we should hear a conversation for like at the end of the year, just hear one.
Just go back and play one of the videos. Yeah, that's all. And mark this one as a day to be remembered.
On our shoe size. Oh, you're wearing Spartan size too.
These are so many people at this bad.
Yeah.
All right, that's 4. Okay, guys. So what this is talking about here, the remainder theorem gives us another way to find p of x for a given value. This is just talking about how I showed you to check for the remainder, like to just plug in that value. So if I did my synthetic division here, and I did 1, 2, -1, -2, -1, -2, I get -6 as my remainder, right? What do you think I would get if I plugged 2 in? Which is really what 8 is saying, right? Yeah, if I did 2 cubed, I think this is the exact same problem I had you check on the front, isn't it? Yeah, that's okay. We know what it is then. We know we got it right. That does equal -6. Okay, so it's just showing you can find the remainder with the division. You can find the remainder by plugging in the value. Sometimes you're just going to need to do it the way I asked the question. It's like if you look at the next one for number 9, it says find p of 5 using synthetic division. That means find the remainder when 5 is what you're dividing by. I said with synthetic division, so do you think I want to see some synthetic division?
Yes.
Yes, I don't just want to see you plug the 5 in. You'll get the same answer both ways, but you've got to just do what the question asks. Okay?
But in a test, we just plug 5 in.
On a test, you should follow the directions of the question.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, definitely do what it says. And I actually think synthetic division is sometimes faster.
So wait, so division has to be equal to that divided by x minus 5.
It is, yes. Yep. We're getting 51. Okay. Now, I'm not asking you to tell me x squared plus 2x plus 11 plus 51 over whatever. I'm simply asking for the remainder. So 51 is the answer to this problem. Okay. All right, next part here, factoring. Factoring never goes away. All right, it says factor completely using the given factor and long division. You don't have to do long division on this one, just divide whatever way you want. I'm going to do synthetic division, okay?
On the quiz and test, are we gonna have to do long division?
So there will be at least one that the only way to do it is with long division. Okay, so definitely know how to do both ways. You're going to see way more synthetic division than long division though, okay?
And the way that we know that we have to do long is if it's more than like, if it's like x squared. Is that
Yep.
good? Okay.
Yep.
So if I look-
Again, follow the directions, because the directions they match. What is there? Okay. All right, guys, so what goes outside of the little box? -2. Are you getting 0 as your remainder? If you don't, that's a problem, because it says this is a factor. If it's a factor, what is your remainder? 0. If it's a factor, it divides in evenly. There's no remainder. So what you're left with is x squared minus 4x plus 3. What does that factor into? You say close.
Yes.
X minus 3, x minus 1. Now it says factor completely. That means the factor you're given is also going to be a part of your answer. So next to this, you're going to write x plus 2. And then to make it actually like a function, set it equal to y or f of x, something like that. Okay. Read your directions on your homework quiz and test. Sometimes I'll say factor completely and state the zeros. So then you need to say like x equals 3 and negative or 1 and negative 2. Okay, but if I just say factor, then factor and stop. All right. Questions before we get to the last one here? And guys, if I'm going too quickly, just tell me to slow down at any point, okay? Okay. Do this. All right. So the last one here, 11, it says use the remainder theorem to determine which binomial is a factor, then use that binomial to factor completely. Do you know what that means? Okay. Do you know what a binomial is? Two terms. So that's the x plus 5 and the x minus 2. Those are your binomials. Remainder theorem, figuring out which one is a factor. What do you expect to see for the remainder if it's a factor?
0.
That's what it's talking about. So it's saying divide and find which one has a remainder of 0. Then you know it's a factor, and then you can keep factoring. Okay? So which one do you want to divide by first? X minus 2. Okay. Excellent choice. 2. It's very exciting when you get a 0.
So how do you know if you did anything wrong division?
If what? I'm sorry.
How do you know if you have 2 wrong division or which one is?
Okay, so what we're dividing by here, see how it's just an x in a number? That's when you can do synthetic. If this was x squared plus something, or even if it had a coefficient like 3x plus 5, I wouldn't recommend synthetic. There's a way to do it, but it's uglier than long division. Okay? All right, so we are here, which means we have 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. It says factor completely. So my final answer is going to have 3 factors, one of which I already know to be x minus 2. And then you need to get your other 2 factors from this guy. So I'll give you a minute. Again, guys, factoring, it's never going away. If you are not good at factoring, once you can leave Warhawk time, come and visit me so we can practice. Okay, let's spend some quality time together. Yes. Personal. No, it's not. It's x minus 2. But if it becomes backwards, it's multiplied. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, I see. I was like, what's the Oh, that's a.
Yeah, you were doing like that.
Okay.
It's not doing the
Got it.
Like, is it sticky?
Yeah, that's
There's like boxes, X's, everyone's got their own little shape that they draw.
They don't hear something. Alright, and then you like multiply it to convert. Now they can. The
The two ones.
Yes,
Okay,
and then you do like
yes. No, I do it differently.
Actually, wait, you do the box. I think.
I did the cross.
You do the cross. Yeah,
The box.
that's your box.
Going on.
Yeah, 2x squared.
And these are other two colors, the 2x. So those get an X with them.
Yeah, those two go.
Yes.
The bottom got me. Just wait. And I know you just like one back here. X plus 1. Here, 2x plus 1. X plus 1.
Excellent use of the cross and follow.
Thank you.
All right, guys, with whatever method you use, did you guys get to 2x plus 1 and x plus 1 as your other factors? Yeah. Okay.
Wait,
So,
you're substituting the upper finger over how much you're dividing by.
yep. Okay, guys, questions? You made it through notes on Friday afternoon. You've got equals of time. So we're going to do a couple of whiteboard practice problems.
That's how I chill. Yeah, I think I like to do math.
Chill by doing yes.
So we'll just push down this.
For everything.
Graphic is like
Not too bad. So guys, I'm gonna pass out whiteboards. These stay in your desk, so I just haven't used them yet this year. So once you get one, just leave it in your desk. I'll give you markers here in a second too. Will you guys just put them in the desk where people can
Yep.
I know, yeah. You get to choose the best one.
Pass that along. I'll give you
Some are definitely nicer than others. You bet. Nope.
Here's two next.
Yeah, go ahead.
Here's
Like,